welcome to the stream. There's a life-threatening situation ongoing. It looks like this tornado is dying right now. We did have an intense tornado that just occurred, causing us to go on this emergency stream. If you are in the path of this, you need to seek shelter immediately, although it looks like it's now curving to the northwest. I did want to briefly get on and inform you that we did have an intense tornado that has just occurred. Again, this was a strong tornado on the ground. That was on the ground. And this will be, right now it said it was moving northeast at 10 miles an hour, but that has since changed to move to the northwest and seems to be dying now. But again, we did have that tornado just now, and now we do have another tornado warning in progress down to the south. It seems to be moving to the southeast, but we're going to confirm that here in just a second. We're still setting some things up, but again, that seems to be moving to the southeast. Actually moving east at 10 miles an hour, but it looks like it's moving more to the southeast. I do want to point out that these tornadoes are moving very, very slow in nature. And now we have that other tornado trying to form. And I just want to point out for this up here, for this intense tornado that we just had, you can see the drop off and reflectivity there from that tornado. Again, this is producing another tornado, and you need to seek shelter immediately. If you are in, let me go and highlight some areas real quick. For this new tornado warning to the south that it's developing, if you're in Grand Field and Devil, you need to seek shelter immediately. For you people up north in these two towns up here, you seem like you might be in the clear soon. That rotation did die out, but that is a rotation that is moving towards Grand Field to its south. I'm gonna go ahead and get the and again, that seems to be that seemed to be a very violent tornado. We are thankful that it happened over rural areas, but we have unconfirmed reports by satellite imagery that it did stall near a structure and then curve northwest. We are hoping that's not the case, but again, we're trying to inform you, and that's the main point of this emergency stream, is to inform you on what is happening. Now, as you can see, this rotation near Grand Field seems to be kicking up into into a tight couplet there. And we're going to be tracking this as it moves towards Grand Field. And again, this is, it says moving east at 10. I'm going to say it's moving southeast at 10. And, yeah. We're going to be informing you as this goes down. And then this is currently moving. I do want to point out that this environment does have potential to produce a few more strong tornadoes. But apart from that, we are not expecting tornadoes in any other part of the nation. But again, it seems like that rotation seems to be weakening a tiny bit as it gets near Grand Field. But we'll be tracking that as it gets closer. Our team is not on active right now, but we'll be keeping you informed. And we'll go ahead and have that pulled up just in case if anyone would like to join us tonight. We do have apparently that rotation near Grand Field did have a brief tornado, but that could still be on the ground. Keep in mind with how small this rotation is, this could be still on the ground, and with how small it is, it's going to be very hard to tell if it's either contamination, clear air, or an actual tornado debris signature. And again, we'll be updating you throughout this event here. Well, we kind of jumped in on the late stages of the event, but again, we had to jump in because that tornado looked very strong and very violent. And now we have another rotation that seems to be forming that some people are saying might be anticyclonic. But here, let me confirm that. I'll be moving away and then going, yep, that is anticyclonic, meaning that it is not moving the direction it should be moving in, and that is counterclockwise. And I think if I go back here, you might be able to see what I mean. Because from this radar site, red means it's moving away from the radar, and green means it's going towards the radar. So normally when you have something like this, you can start to notice, I'm going to play it back a bit, you can start to notice a theme here where it's moving away, and then it curves, and it moves towards, and then moves away. That's counterclockwise. But if you go down here, keep in mind this is the same radar site, it moves away, and then towards, and then away, and that is the other direction, and that is clockwise. So yeah, this is a anticyclonic rotation. We do have another tornado warning in effect. So again, we do have another tornado warning that is in effect west of here, moving southeast at 10 miles an hour in golf ball sized tail. And again, I want to point out that all these rotations are moving very slow. So again, all these rotations seem to be moving very, very slow. Down to your southeast at 10 miles an hour. again, that seems to be moving to the southeast here. That seems to be gathering its strength. Where you can see that tornado debris signature now. Again, it seems like it's also stalling. So again, these storms are very slow moving. In fact, I'm pretty sure that is a debris ball on that radar. And this will be moving very, very slowly to the southeast at 10 miles an hour. We do have other indications that that tornado from earlier was a massive wedge tornado. So again, that was a massive wedge tornado that was on the ground. And now we have that debris ball with that anticyclonic rotation.
Oh, Molly, I'm here.
And hello, and also you can see if that's correct. That hook is also reversed.
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
Look in weather discussions. That's the Loveland tornado. You can only see the left edge.
Yeah, and I saw
They
that.
did
In
confirm.
fact, I was
Yeah,
talking about that on the stream. But yeah, that was a
yeah,
massive wedge tornado that was on the ground. And again, there's a lot of confusion regarding this tornado, and that's because this tornado was very out of the blue.
yeah, very. There was a slight CC drop with it, and then it just went pitch black CC. It was just wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something that Storm Team might only understand, but yeah, that had higher vort than the Amori tornado.
Yeah, VROT. Some people calculated it about 140.
140.
I calculated it at about 113. I don't know about 140, but I'm also only on radar scope, so my velocities only peak out at 141. So it very well could have been higher than what I'm able to see, but on radar scope, peak VROT, which is the rotational winds, it was 600 feet off the ground where the radar picked up 261 mile per hour winds. So that's nuts.
Yeah, that was absolutely nuts, and you can see that playback. And it looks like we do have a very strong anticyclonic tornado, which is unheard of
Mm-hmm.
in the weather community.
It also had something called a vortex hole. And basically, what a vortex hole is you normally get those with some of the most violent tornadoes you see, like Rolling Fork. Rolling Fork is a good example of this, except this signature was better than Rolling Fork. And the reason why I think if Rolling Fork was closer to a radar, it would have also looked really good. But this was closer to a radar, so we were able to get a better picture of it.
Yeah, that was taken at like about
But
500 feet off the ground.
yeah,
And again, that is a debris ball being caused by an anticyclonic tornado. And
do we
again,
know how high the debris got lofted?
I don't know, and I don't think we'll get anything reliable
Mm,
considering how close it was. But yeah, again, that is a deep tornado debris signature. And again, I have to point it out because it's so unusual, caused by an anticyclonic tornado. And keep in mind, all
yeah, I know.
anticyclonic tornadoes themselves are already extremely rare. But having a powerful one, now that is something that probably happen once every few years or decades.
They also did confirm a fatality in Kansas today with a really strong tornado that went through a town that actually did sweep a home off its foundation.
Yeah, and
I
someone,
apologize for interrupting. We got a significant
yeah,
anticyclonic
we're
tornado,
covering
and
that.
I've never seen
We're
that in my
covering
life.
we're covering that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That is a particularly
But
okay. Tristan,
go
Tristan,
ahead.
Tristan, Tristan. We need to calm down for a
Oh,
second. I know this
oh,
is something that's going to be in textbooks, but we gotta stay professional here. But
oh, that's a
again,
PDS.
and keep in mind, yeah, PDS for an anticyclonic tornado. I just want to say the new movement information is currently stationary or moving very slowly south.
Yeah, I can see that moving very slow.
Yeah, that is basically
That
unheard of.
look.
And again, guys, for the amount of people that's joining, we need to speak one at a time.
We just got a new tornado watch. This is very important. This is for the mesoscale situation. And they say a couple of tornadoes possible. I'm going to say it outright. I'm going to say a couple of tornadoes likely. Scattered damaging winds to 70 miles per hour possible. Scattered large hail events to 1.5 inches in diameter. And I'm going to say, they say possible. I'm going to say likely. And I'm even going to say some 2-inch hail may happen. Because of the mesoscale that is going on. So I'm going to go a little bit more aggressive than the watch wording. Because this has been a crazy night.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
keep in mind, I just want to remind people, people in the team, one final time, since this is a very rare situation, if we keep cutting each other, then I will be muting people, but that's the only time I'm going to say that. But again, for the people in Grand Field, this tornado is moving very slow, but you need to seek shelter right now. You might have to seek shelter for a while because of how slow this is moving. This does include Grand Field, Duvall, and Loveland.
I can see it slightly moving. Might not be quite stationary. I'm sure it might
It
be
seems to it
stationary
seems to be
for a
picking up
couple
back in
times, but
speed. It seems to be picking it back
yeah,
in
it looks like
speed.
it might be moving at probably 5 or 10 miles an hour right
So
now.
again, Grand Field, you need to seek shelter right now in an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. This won't be your usual tornado. You'll have your RFD first, and then the tornado, rather than like something else. If this was a regular tornado, because its hook is reversed, because it is
Oh, I see
anticyclonic.
that now. Yeah, I
I
see
just
that.
want to mention that this might be one of the strongest anticyclonic tornadoes ever on radar. The VROT is 71.2 knots. Wow.
That's pretty strong for an anticyclonic tornado.
Sorry to interrupt, but we just got an update from the National Weather Service. They just issued a tornado watch, a very localized tornado watch.
Yeah, Tristan read that already.
And my station is still off the air, unfortunately, so I don't know when that's going to be back on.
Yeah, and again, it's important to mention it'll be very hard to see these tornadoes, so seek shelter if you're in Grand Field. Remember, you'll have your RFD first and then the tornado, instead of the tornado first and then the RFD. Because again, that hook is directly reversed.
Also, I would like to mention that normally when you get up towards a VROT of around 75 knots, that's when a tornado normally crosses into that violent threshold. And this tornado currently has VROT of around 72, and it's anticyclonic. That is very rare for an anticyclonic tornado to be this intense to even violent. So that's wow.
Yeah.
This is
That's
one
pretty
of
wild.
the. And I'm going to say this. I have never seen anticyclonic tornado this powerful.
I do
And
want
this
to.
Neither have I.
mesoscale is one of the best I've seen in.
Yeah.
Okay, and then and earlier it did have a debris ball on it, and a very powerful tornado debris signature. And we're going to be tracking this as it gets near Grand Field. Before it seemed like it was stalling, and now it seems to be picking back up in speed. Still moving decently slow. But Grand Field, you need to seek shelter immediately. I do want to point out that each scan is minutes in between, so it is a lot slower than you think it is. So you need to seek shelter now. This seems like it might be more on the long-lived side as well. Which is, again, unheard of from an anticyclonic tornado, but that's going to be the last time in the stream where we'll freak out about how there's a strong anticyclonic tornado, I think. But
New severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located in the Hollister, moving south and west at 10 miles per hour.
Okay, please do not read out that entire warning in entirety full.
Did you just say southwest?
South and west.
Yes, south and west at 10 miles an hour.
Dang.
And I just want to point out that is again, this is a very unusual event, and it's highly recommended that all of you stay weather aware if you're on this general location, because all these tornadoes are moving in all sorts of different places and directions. So if you're in the general area of southwestern Oklahoma, east of Frederick, Oklahoma, and southwest of Lawton, Oklahoma, stay weather aware and stay indoors. Do not travel as all these storms are causing very unusual things with tornadoes moving erratically.
You know what I've realized about late April for Oklahoma? It
Again, we
has a
can
tendency to have really bad nighttime tornado events.
yeah, and right now is not the time to recap on everything. We just need to focus on the present. As again, this is
What
a
is
pretty
that?
dangerous situation.
Hey guys, you see that really prominent hook just south of the Frederick radar?
Yeah, I do see that.
Looking very interesting. I definitely would watch that.
Yeah, we'll have someone watching that. Again, if you're in Grand Field, you need to seek shelter. Okay, from the amount of people that's joining, we might have to start meeting some people here. Oh, never mind. Someone just rejoined.
I want to know it's not just the supercells that are overperforming. The BOEC up here in the Tulsa Metro is somewhat over. New warning with 70-mile-per-hour wind. So things are over.
Yeah. Can anyone confirm if there is new rotation trying to form north of Grand Field?
Granfield?
Yeah,
Let
north
me
of
take
Grand
a
Field,
look.
not northwest.
North of Granfield?
Tyler,
Um,
I got. Oh, my bad.
Make
I was
it.
I
gonna
don't,
say, I need to show you this environment because that's the hodo for these supercells.
I don't see much
Oh my god.
more. Oh wow,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
photograph.
So, Storm Team, do you think that could be a rotation there?
I don't know. Obviously, just well, obviously you got the stuff in the PDS, but I don't see anything north of that. Oh wait, what is this? Is there two couplets in here north of Granfield?
Yeah, it's the one I highlighted.
Is there like a mesoscale like handoff about to happen? I don't know what's going on up there, but that looks like two circulations there.
This whole night has been idle. What's
That's odd. Yeah, I think there are two circulations there. They're like right next to each other.
Yeah, and again, we'll be tracking this whole event here. I thought we were only going to be live for like 15 minutes, but that changed.
Another thing to note with this PDS tornado warning, there may not be a tornado on the ground right now, but this storm has history of producing strong tornadoes. And there's also another thing to note with the storm, it is heavily rain wrapped. It is very heavily rain wrapped.
So east
Yeah,
of Hollister, there is a tighter rotation. Near Granfield, there's a tight rotation.
Yeah,
And
is
there's a
yeah, I
new
see
broad
that.
rotation happening near the Texas-Oklahoma border. I think there are free rotations again.
Okay,
okay,
so that
and
Granfield storm, Tyler, it looks to have broadened out more.
yeah, and again, I also want to point out that large hail is also falling with this storm, as well as powerful winds. So you need to be mindful of that. We're picking up very strong wind signatures northwest of Loveland at this time. So again, it's best if you're anywhere in the path of the storm, just stay indoors. Do not travel, and wait this one out. And if you are
Well,
if you are traveling, and cannot get into a sturdy shelter, please be extremely careful. As again, there could be a tornado erratically moving your direction. There could be large hail, and very strong winds, or a mixture of the both. So again, if you are traveling and cannot get into a safe spot, because again, this is very rural Oklahoma, please be very mindful tonight as you're driving.
I'm just speechless over this Nets radar image. Like right.
And it looks like
I'm
I
I'm a
do.
posting on coverage chat.
Okay, and then okay, so yeah, that rotation.
Wow.
Okay, Tristan. Okay, anyways, this seems like the tornado debris signature seems to be fading out. But again, Grandfield, you should remain in your safe spots. The rotation looks a lot weaker than what it was just moments ago. So again, if you're in Grandfield, you need to seek shelter and remain in your shelters in the interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. And again, this is a very unusual event. Again, we have tornadoes moving erratically and very slowly. And we do have large hail and damaging winds. This is basically one massive storm that's moving towards later on into Texas. And again, the environment is still
That's some
primed.
new.
The environment is still primed for tornadoes, so please be careful. Go ahead, Tristan.
We just got some new information. I was expecting this along with the tornadoes. Flash flooding has been observed in Comanche County, Oklahoma. Here we go. So it is now an observed flash flood warning in effect for Comanche County. So not only do we got multiple potential tornadoes, damage, hail, but these storms have been really slow and have kilowatt values of quick little plant. Precipitable water is 1.4 around this cluster. The P-watt values of 1. So yeah, we're dealing with not only tornado damage and a really not a normal tornadic situation. We are now dealing with the potential of some flash flooding. In fact, 1 to 2 significant flash floods cannot be ruled out with how much rain.
Again, and because
So
yeah,
we
again,
got
of how
all threats.
slow this is moving southeast, I won't be surprised if we get more flash flood warnings. This is moving agonizingly slowly. I feel like I can walk faster than this storm.
Oh.
Again, this radar data we are getting is pretty insane right now, but if you're in Grandfield, you have a rotation that's about to be on top of you, not a regular rotation, but anticyclonic. That's gonna be on top of Grandfield, and we're gonna be seeing that track into Devil, that is more longer tracked. You have 2 other tornado warnings to its west, also moving southeast, and apparently one of them has south and west as well.
New severe thunderstorm warning threat is considerable. 2-inch hail for Kay and Noble County, Oklahoma.
Well, there's the hail. There's the hail we were talking about there, folks.
That hail's
nope,
always
that's
been
not in the supercells. That's in the line. In
Oh,
Northern.
what? The line. Dang.
Yeah. A supercell on the left side.
That's very interesting.
This day has been interesting.
Something else I'd like to note that's interesting. That extremely violent tornado that we had, before that anticyclonic one. So when it was moving westward at like 10 miles per hour, the storm did a loop back around and moved directly west and then off to the north.
I do have new information.
Oh.
I did get a photo just now of that tornado, and yeah, that one was a wedge.
Which one? The anticyclonic one?
Anticyclonic.
Oh, so they were both wedges.
Yep.
Okay. Well, what's this tornado
look
like?
I can vaguely see it, and it looks very large.
I really hope this is not true. Debris was lofted 10,000 feet on the Granville tornado.
Dang, that's a significant tornado.
And it was anticyclonic.
Alright, so what's this tornado look like?
Hold up. I'll send you an image. I can see through nighttime images very well, but I'll post it anyway. Alright, I'm gonna post it in coverage VC. That is the Grandfield tornado for the storm team here. My mouse is.
Oh wow! Look at that.
My mouse is breaking apart right now. So hold up.
That's an amazing image for it being at night.
There we go. I just had to slam my mouse down a bunch of times and it fixed itself.
Yep.
Yeah, right now we are tracking that rotation. It seems to be on its last stages, but that'll be near Grandfield. We are also tracking another area of rotation south of a hoister of that hook echo, moving south and west at 10 miles an hour.
The power of mesos. I know I say it a lot of times in coverage, but this. Wow. I really want to
what's
go.
up?
Alrighty, Snowball, I just want to let you know we're in a mode of where if there's too much people talking over each other, they will be muted. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm glad most of this mesoscale occurred without hitting.
Yeah, again, this is
I do think some areas take a hit.
That
That's what we know.
anticyclonic tornado looked to be a direct hit on Granfield, if not just north.
Yeah.
that looked to be
Yeah.
more northwest of Granfield, but yeah, that rotation seems to be moving over now. But it's on its final
I
stages.
can't believe that violent tornado we had tonight. You could only see the left edge of that tornado. That's nuts.
This night's been something.
Yep.
Yeah. Oklahoma is notorious for doing that this April.
This
Yep.
this will be an event for case studies to come.
Yep. For years to come.
Oh yeah.
I'm multitasking so much right now.
This
And we do have that hook forming south of a hoister. We'll be tracking that. It looks like there's no rotation of velocity, but actually, I think I do see something, but that looks out of the storm.
take that. There's like there's like 3 rotations.
Yeah, which
It's
rotation
very-
are we talking about, buddy?
The one south of hoister, but that looks to be the only one. I don't know where the others
South
are
of
at.
Hollister?
Yeah,
There's another
Again,
one,
south of
to the
Hollister,
east.
I see like 12 of them.
There's
I only see
12 of them.
I
There's
only
a-
see one. Is it on upper
There's
level?
one east of Granfield actually. It's broad. It's in a mesoscale corridor.
I think that was the tornado.
Yeah, and it looks like it's tightening back up.
This time
Yep,
it looks
there
like
it
it's
is.
There's the nice. Hold on.
Okay. Jeez. I
There's
want to point.
Oh shit.
Okay. Final warning here. I'm just gonna say that new rotation, if it is developing, would be regular cyclonic.
I don't
And-
think physics is trying to physic here.
Yeah, and another thing too, these supercells are actually forming their own small MCS.
Well,
Very interesting.
Oh, here we go. Found
So, by the
an
way, it's,
image.
we've
I will
had
send it through the DM, but I found an image of that tornado.
we've
The
had
Downdraft-
Granfield one. That Granfield
Downdraft-
one. I don't know if it's the same one.
Downdraft Cape is over 1,100 in cells. So if they could get a good Boeing, whew, they could get somewhere. What's the wind shear? I'm just kidding.
This is that anticyclonic tornado that we were watching over Granfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what yeah.
And this is not the only thing we had tonight. We also had a very interesting situation. Storm and I were on earlier around Topeka, Kansas.
Oh, what happened there?
Very intense supercell.
Looks
Very.
like rotation is starting to form now north of Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is some rotation starting to form.
I'm gonna play back the radar here over the last hour or something.
And also, Tyler, this tornado did a thing, which is very rare on the radar. It's called range folding.
Oh
It
yeah.
basically means that a tornado gets so strong The radar can't pick up everything, so it has to fold on top of the first.
Yeah, it's got to fold back down the velocity scale.
Yeah. And that
Which
normally
is-
happens to like more like violent tornadoes, right?
The really violent ones, like the
I think Mayfield had something like
EFI
that,
type
right?
of countries. Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Like when it was going through
New
Mayfield.
flash flood warning in effect. Comanche, Cotton, Tillman counties of Oklahoma until 2 a.m. Central. I am not surprised.
Yeah, Mayfield did have range folding. Moore, Oklahoma, 2013 had range folding.
El Reno,
The
of course.
El Reno 2013 had
Yeah.
range folding.
Alrighty, so I
A
just want
lot
to
of
point out, okay, sorry to cut off that conversation there, but we do have that new rotation forming. This will be southwest of Cookietown, northwest of Ranlet, moving southeast. The National Weather Service doesn't show the speed because it shows the speed for the older rotation, so they'll probably issue another tornado warning perhaps for this one, for this rotation that's trying to kick up here. But right now that is rotation trying to form just kind of like southwest of Cookietown.
Oh, you talking about the one north of Devil?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. That is trying to form some rotation. Let me take a look at the upper
By
tilt.
the way,
Yeah, that's getting
Yeah.
as
tighter.
soon as y'all mentioned that rotation, the National Weather Service in Norman has issued a tornado warning for that exact rotation.
Alrighty, so
Yep.
we'll go ahead and get the radar, the warning information. I'll read out that warning information when it shows up. But yeah, right now that
I got it right now on the M-bot right now.
go ahead and read it out, but don't just read out like the speed
county?
and how long it's gonna be in effect for.
So it is moving southeast at 15. And it's supposed to be in effect till 11:30 p.m. Central.
Alrighty.
So yeah, again,
That's another like hour.
yeah, because these storms are moving very slow, and there we go, it popped up there.
Slowly.
That actually includes a part of Texas, actually, north of Wichita Falls. This area got hit by a tornado about not even like 3 days ago.
And some major flooding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, for these areas here, you need to seek shelter now. I think you remember your tornado precautions from that tornado from just a few days ago, but you need to be in an interior room on the
any
lowest
updates? I'm
floor.
back.
Okay, Snowball. You need to be in an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. Get into the basement or storm shelter if you do have one. If you are driving, pull into a sturdy shelter. If there is no available shelter, drive away the other direction. Especially if you're on that interstate right there. Or find any natural area that's underground, like a sewer system, a cave, or something like that. Anything of that sort. That rotation seems to be developing now. Fully developing
we're
now as
looking
it
at a-
gets northwest of Renlet. Go ahead, Snowball.
We're looking at a possible tornado now, just northwest of Randlet. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Here?
Renlet.
Randlet.
I'm
and
very
then,
scared right now. If there are any
Yeah.
storm chasers there, they are in serious danger.
Yeah,
Actually,
it looks like we may have a tornado developing just north of Devil right now. That rotation's starting to really get itself together really fast, and it's getting tight.
Yeah, there's one I think already on the ground just northwest of Randlet, so there could
Let's
be a
check
second
the
one now. Am I
tracker to
hearing?
confirm.
Yeah,
None.
let me look. I'm not really seeing anything being picked up quite yet.
but like we saw in that very big tornado, it was nothing for 1 minute, and then it just went down, and then it got violent. So don't get fooled by that. Keep watching.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no, I'm
Again,
not-
these tornadoes can form decently quickly, and these are moving very unusually. Normally, you would see these tornadoes moving northeast, but these are moving southeast, and even in one case, southwest.
Yeah.
3 cases actually are moving west.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them are in like their late stages though when they normally do that, but again, my point still stands here of how these storms are moving very unusually.
A very erratical movement, we'll put it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to update the headline here because I forgot I still had it as that.
All right, check the upper tilts. The upper tilt is starting to get better on this storm, all the way up to tilt 3 right. I'm waiting
There
for tilt
is
4.
there is one good thing about this, though. One good thing. At least it didn't happen where the storms happened that other big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
At least it was in more of a rural area.
okay, let's focus on the present instead of
But
the
this is still
past,
serious.
especially when we have a rotation developing.
So looking back at the image I sent y'all with the whole Granville tornado being an absolutely gigantic wedge. Again, just a
Wedge,
reminder that this thing
anti-cyclone.
this thing was spinning the wrong direction from our hemisphere. Because,
Yeah.
you know,
Again, I already went
physics
into
said
that.
fuck it.
Snowball.
What's popping?
Nothing. Alrighty, again, we're going to be tracking this rotation northwest of Renlet. We'll be moving southeast at 20 miles an hour. Maybe
Not
15. My
it's-
bad. My bad.
No, it's not as intense as it once was before. The new frame came in,
Yeah,
and
it
it
looks
kind
more
of
broader.
Let's keep it that way.
Tilt 4, however, is gate to gate now, and it's looking more intense in the upper levels. So I think we give the lower tilts some time to work, and I think we might have a tornado here in a couple minutes. So I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rotation is kind of weak at the lower tilt, but in trade, it's not raw. It's like a weak but tight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
tight, but
so I do want to point out that to give an exact idea of where this tornado is slowly crawling to, it seems like, again, it's hard to tell because it's so slow moving and can change at any moment, but this should be near or north of Ranlet and just south of Cookie Town. Again, these tornadoes are moving very erratically, so that can easily change, but that's where it's aiming towards.
Anyways, I'll be right back, guys. I need to go use the restroom.
Alrighty. Again, we're gonna be tracking this as it moves southeast.
Yeah, I think we have a
15 miles an hour.
mesocyclone on that other rotation.
Yeah, we'll
a
check that
massive
out.
one.
That'll be that'll be in effect until 11:30 p.m. Central Time. Where would this new mesocyclone would be? Snowball.
new severe thunderstorm warning. I know we're focused on the south, but we don't want to forget the other people in Oklahoma. For Kay and Noble counties in Oklahoma, hail of 2 inch and winds of 60 miles an hour. The damage threat is considerable.
Alrighty.
Watch out for 2 inch hail potentially.
Yeah, and Snowball, where did you say that a mesocyclone was
Possibly
developing?
looking on the other side of the storm, far west of, southwest of Loveland. Possibly.
Possibly southeast of Loveland or southwest?
Southwest.
Southwest, alrighty.
Southwest on copy. A possible mesocyclone on that side.
Yeah, I don't really see much on the new scan, though. But I think I do see on the past one. Yeah, but if that was, then I think that's gone now.
The scariest thing about the mesoscale situation is that because the storms are doing a lot of outflow bound, because they have a lot of RFD, you can have very erratic mesoscale also. It's not just the tornadoes. At one scan, we could be seeing nothing, and in the next scan, we might have 2 tornadoes on the ground. Or the next scan, we might have a more damaging tornado.
Yeah.
This is a very erratic mesoscale.
I do want to point out that even though the rotation looks like it's dying on the lower levels, it's still very prominent on the upper levels, so it can always crawl back down. We've seen that happen before, so if you're in Ranlet, Cookie Town, Seek Shelter, if you're for these people in Devil, this rotation would not be heading in your direction. But again, you still have that storm system that's about to go through that town, so you need to it's just best that you stay indoors and be weather aware. And for people in and our people in Texas that are in this warning, this will also remain north of you. So again, you don't have to take tornado precautions immediately, but because that will be remaining just north of you. But you still
I
have
am
that
very
storm
worried.
system
It
too.
looks like
You still have that storm system too that's about to move through your general area too, just like a devil. Go ahead, Tristan.
I am very worried, and I'm looking at the National Weather Service radars. I have the confirmed radar scope. Not only is the right part of this complex looking like it's trying to do some type of MCS, trying to start Boeing, but we might have an isolated supercell in the worst place possible near Anamore, Oklahoma.
Again, let's not go ahead and fear monger here a bit, but yeah, that will be we'll keep
That
that
would
in
be
mind.
watched very close.
Yeah, but again, let's try not to fear monger that much, but again, that will be something that we'll keep an eye on. You're still tracking that rotation there. Again, on the lower levels, that rotation is very broad, and it seems like now on the newest scan, on one scan of the upper levels, it seems like it's starting to collapse on the upper levels as well. So hopefully that remains the case. But for now, if you're in Ranlet, south of Cookie Town, you need to seek shelter. But right now, it looks like that rotation seems to be collapsing right now. And that will be moving to the southeast at a very snail's pace of 15 miles an hour. I'm going to play back the radar from what we had. We had that extremely violent tornado that caused us to go live north of Loveland. And we had that other anti-cyclonic tornado form northwest of Grand Field, and then that other rotation forming that was trying to kick up near Devil and Ranlet, but that seems to be collapsing as we speak. They did drop 2 of the tornado warnings, so we're now down to 2.
Near Devil, the National Weather Service Norman did a Twitter tweet saying there is a tornado just north of town. Take shelter now.
Like on the ground, or does it just say tornado?
On the ground.
On the ground.
From National Weather Service in Norman.
Yeah, and again, we'll be tracking this here, but again, the rotation seems to be collapsing on the upper levels, so there's a chance that might have just since lifted, but we'll be keeping an eye on that for a few more scans here. Nothing on the debris tracker either. We are now down to 2 tornado warnings. I want to point out that this small environment here is the only place where we're going to be seeing stuff like this, according to what we have been notified of. So again, any other areas will have a small tornado threat, but not to this extent, like we are seeing here tonight in southwestern Oklahoma. And again, we did have some tornadoes earlier in the day, but we didn't consider them to be too strong enough for us to go live for. And keep in mind, we might be going live tomorrow, but we'll see about that. But that's enough of reflecting on the past and the future. Let's go ahead and focus on the present, as that rotation seems to be on its way out, like we've been saying. But we'll be tracking that to see if it does redevelop, which can happen. And again, we do have a large hail falling as well, of over golf ball sized hail falling with this storm as well. We do have a flash flood warning in effect just behind it until 2 o'clock a.m. And we're expecting more flash flood warnings to be issued over the next 2 to 3 hours as this slowly crawls its way to the southeast towards Texas. And again, we do not see this becoming well, for as strong as it is, we do not expect this to make it to the Dallas Fort Worth area as at this intensity, but it's still something to watch there. And I also want to tell our people in Witcherell Falls, you might get a sliver of this. Again, actually, it feels like you might get more than just a sliver. But this is very slow moving, so it might be a while before you get there. I mean, what we're playing back right now is over the last hour. Actually, approaching on an hour and a half. And this line of storms is basically only made it like very slow. I mean, Lawton only just got out of it, and they were in the system for over an hour and a half. So it's no shocker we have a flash flood warning there. So again, this storm is moving very, very slowly, but also pretty decently strong, producing tornadoes and large hail.
I will also mention that during the big tornado that happened, the lightning was 1,000 strikes a minute for 30 minutes straight.
And that shows an extremely powerful storm. And in fact, I'm going to show you the lightning counter right now. Every single one of those pluses on your screen is a lightning strike that has occurred in the last 20 minutes. And yet you can still see there is a lot of lightning activity still of this storm. So that just shows you, because the more lightning strikes there is, pretty much the more powerful the storm is. That's one of the ways to tell. That's basically one of our ways to tell.
It is a lot less than that big tornado, though, which is a good sign.
Yeah, but again, that's still a lot of lightning activity, so that means that storm is still decently strong, too. Also, that tornado, say again, Tristan?
I was saying that these storms are still pretty intense. We might be having one more tornado on the ground, depending on if Norman is right about that tornado.
Well, again, I wouldn't, again, this environment is still capable of producing a tornado, but, again, you just need to be weather aware tonight, especially for, north of Witcherell Falls into northeast of there, into Texas as well, on the southern Oklahoma border, Texas-Oklahoma border as well. If you are on the interstate, you're, who is that? And whoever's doing that, they need to stop doing that. But okay. Anyways, again, like I was saying, if you're in southern Oklahoma on the Oklahoma-Texas border and in Witcherell Falls and northeast, you're going to be impacted by a pretty strong storm system, by a line of storms that is, again, moving very slow. So it might be a while before you get impacted, and that storm can always weaken by the time it gets to you. But again, for example, I mean, look at Lawton. Again, like I said, that was in the storm for over an hour and a half, according to the radar, past radar, before finally getting out of it. So again, flash flooding is also a concern. So it might be raining for a very long time, raining and thundering. And again, we'll be tracking this to the southeast over the next few hours. Before eventually making its way fully into Texas. And most of the radar...
guys, I'm back.
Again, most of the
I'm going to be heading off for the night.
Alright, good night.
So I'll see you guys.
Yeah, okay, good night, Storm Team. But yeah, like I was saying, again, there's going to be slowly making its way to the southeast. I mean, much of the radar information says that it's moving between 10 and 15 miles an hour. In fact, for one of the tornadoes, it said it was basically stationary. But this storm is not stationary. It's moving southeast, again, at around 10 to 15 miles an hour, according to the radar information provided by the National Weather Service. And we'll be tracking this. In fact, there's another tornado warning that just got issued. Let's see if we can get a closer look at it.
For Jefferson, Stephen County, Oklahoma.
Okay, and this is moving
south. Capable of producing a tornado located near Comanche.
Tristan.
Moving east at 20.
Tristan. Okay. This is moving east at 20 miles an hour. This will be in effect until 11:45 p.m. Central Time. Also warned for $half-dollar sized hail on top of the tornado. you have that rotation forming southeast of Sunray. Will be making its way. Yeah, that is moving. That warning is kind of more positioned southeast, but that rotation is moving eastward. That'll be paralleling the highway here. This is part of
Oh, Tyler.
Go ahead, very quickly.
Question, real quick: is that the storm that I called out 20 minutes before?
I don't know, and it doesn't really matter.
Yes, it is. Okay. If you're in that warning, with the history of tonight, just go in the safe place.
Yeah, and again, this is attached to that same storm, so we're tracking the same storm system, producing another rotation. And long term, again, this is a part of rural Texas, so it's very hard to point out certain communities here. But this will be moving towards Oklahoma. And actually, I think I said Texas. I meant to say Oklahoma. Part of rural Oklahoma, moving southeast at 20 miles an hour, so slightly faster, like 5. So again, if you are in that warning, you need to seek shelter. And again, we're going to zoom out here so you can get a general understanding of what's happening. I'm going to play back a few scans and then slowly make our way through, because if I play back the scan fully, it's going to show you back where that violent tornado was. But yeah, I'll play it back anyway here. But yeah, you can see that storm system slowly crawling its way towards places like Ranlet, those same areas that got hit by a tornado just a few days ago, and as well as Waukeira, Oklahoma. Long term, this will slowly make its way into Texas, and when I mean slowly, I mean very, very slowly. I do expect more flash flood warnings to be issued over the next 2 to 3 hours. So also be mindful of that as well. And again, this is the new tornado warning that just got issued. I'm gonna play back. Actually, I'm gonna have to jump back here. But yeah, there's that rotation. I'm gonna go and put up that red square here where that rotation would be. Looks pretty broad, but again, that can always change, especially how it seems like this rotation is on its newer stages. I'm actually going to reposition that a bit to the north. So yeah, that'll be just southeast of Sunray. And that, again, they have it listed as moving east at 20 miles an hour. In fact, I'm kind of shocked they didn't place the warning a bit more eastward, because that looks more southeastward. But again, we'll be tracking this just north of that town down there that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But again, that'll be just northeast of there. To the point where where you might be cleared here in just a few minutes. Empire City, you are out of that warning, so you do not need to worry about this. Meridian, I think you are pretty much in the clear. Even though they placed you in that warning there, that rotation will remain to your southeast, away from any danger. So again, we're going to zoom out again here. That rotation near Ranlet seems to be completely dead, so they might drop that warning here in just a matter of minutes. So again, and also I do want to point out, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings to the north, but that is not our main priority due to the situation that's going on.
I do expect at least a flash flood warning or two for parts of northeastern Oklahoma. The rain. So if these storms are pretty slow, I wouldn't be surprised with the heat watt values just being more. So the biggest threat would be maybe some damaging wind gusts, large hail, and storm. And if the storms move decently slow enough, considering this is a cluster over northern Oklahoma, you have one or a few flash flood warnings. especially because it's more of an open thunder. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Garfield County, Oklahoma. That is a 2.5-inch hail for one of the supercells in front of the line. So we have a lot of hail and tornado makers in Oklahoma. And I actually, if the we're gonna check the surface analysis. Very
Okay,
interested to see
do
on
want
the
to
tail end. Go ahead.
Yeah, do want to kind of quickly say that rotation southeast of sunray seems to be broadening out. Checking the upper levels, yeah, it seems like it's completely broad. So hopefully that means it's on its way out. But again, we'll be monitoring that there. So go ahead, Tristan.
I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of these cells on the part of the MCS complex to the north. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a tornado warning in northern Oklahoma tonight. With a few of these cells being pretty intense. And I got some very good news for Tyler to hear. So the mesoscale now only benefits the Comanche County storm. There is a outflow boundary in front of the rest of the cells, and besides maybe spin up tornadoes, in terms of the normal mesoscale, I am not expecting any more tornadoes out of most of this cluster.
Yeah, I do want
But
to point out.
because this complex has been so weird, I would say keep on guard. If there's a tornado warning, take shelter,
Yeah,
do your normal precautions, even if the storms are getting outflowed down.
yeah, two
The
things
way
I
this
do want to point out since you were talking. One, a massive severe thunderstorm warning got issued. We'll get to that in just a second. But also, do you mean my outflow and boundary? Do you mean this one that's like near Iowa Park, or is that like a gust front?
Did you share your screen and show me real quick, or the image? I'll be able to answer.
Yeah, that's like north of Iowa Park. I think that's more of a gust front, but I do want to. I just want to confirm that. Check coverage, chat.
Basically, if I can get the radar up, so the outflow boundary is basically yes, that's your outflow boundary right there. That normally leads to storms are doing cold inflow, which normally means for most of this complex that we may not have any more tornadoes. However, considering the nature of this complex, and because the Comanche storm is ingesting some of that outflow, which if you get outflow and the inflow of a supercell, that can actually enhance tornado genesis. So
Yeah.
the storm to really watch would be Comanche, basically.
Yeah.
That
So
would be the one.
okay. So now the first thing, severe thunderstorm warning did get issued until 12:15 a.m. Central Time. So, 59 minutes. Moving southeast at 20 miles an hour for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and half-dollar-sized hail. They have put this as a tornado possible tag, and that is not a shocker considering the tornadoes that have been produced and the potential for more on the eastern side of the storm here. Not on the western side, but on the eastern side of the storm system.
I would say the whole thing. Because if this is going brief MCS, we might have a few QLCS little spinner uppers. We might be able to have them too.
Yeah, that you said the side of the storm may struggle a lot to produce tornadoes, but
That doesn't that is normally the case, but we've seen even in bow echoes when they're outflow dominant that they can still produce some QLCS tornadoes, depending on how good the structure is. So I would say for this whole line, one or two QLCS tornadoes still seem likely due to the environment, but that outflow boundary should limit most strong tornado potential. The area and that area is getting a hook, at least on my radar scope, and has a little bit more tighter rotation near Campanchi, that's the one that I think would be able to produce a strong tornado event.
Yeah. So again, we do have that that a rotation near Comanche seems to be redeveloping. Now that it will be on your red square on your screen there. And important to mention that the velocity is ahead of the reflectivity, so that's why the rotation seems to be out of the storm, but it's the velocity that's slightly ahead. But again, right now that is going to be moving east at 20 miles an hour, so still very slow moving. That'll be paralleling the highway here, and we'll be tracking this just north of Loco, Oklahoma. And longer, again, due to how rural this is, that's the only area that I can really call out. If you're in the rural parts east of Comanche, Oklahoma, seek shelter, as well as your area if you're in rural areas northwest of Ringling as well. And that will be getting dangerously close here to Highway 53. And we are tracking this. Just going to let's get a bit more exact with it, considering how rural this tornado seems to be. Again, we'll be tracking this just north of Highway 53. This is way to the southeast of the Comanche Golf Course and Comanche Lake. And I'll be moving to your east at 20 miles an hour. To your west over here is Comanche Lake. And this tornado is east of Comanche Lake. Highlighted by that red square. I'm going to go in and get rid of the radar so you can see what area
New
that
information.
is in. Flash flood warning, I'm assuming, because that just popped up.
Yep, until 2:30 a.m. for Carter and Murray counties.
Alrighty. Yeah, again, right now, again, there could be radar error, but it looks like the rotation, based off reflectivity, seems to be more southern south of Highway 53. But again, if you're like along Highway 53 into local Oklahoma, you need to seek shelter now. This will remain just to the north of the Wolsey Cemetery. But again, that is a tornado. I'm going to zoom out here so you can get a general understanding of where exactly it's at if you don't know those areas. And I'll be moving to the southeast at
Wow, that's.
east 20 miles an hour. East 20 miles an hour.
I don't know if this is from the tornado or this is from damaging wind or RFD, but that whole tree, its roots literally got teared apart from the ground.
And where is this posted?
It's on coverage. Coverage. Wow.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share that here, because I feel like damage photos should be shared. We're going to go ahead and see if we can get that going. Nope, source viewer is not working just yet.
I've never seen a tree like.
So yeah, that would be that tree right there. Wow.
Not even in damaging straight line winds.
That has to be from the tornado.
That might be. Oh, they're continuing with the tornado warning, by the way.
Yeah, we'll go and get that information, but that is a tree from one of the tornadoes that has happened tonight. Unless Tristan knows where that's from.
Tree like.
But yeah, we're gonna give you the information for the new tornado warning. Oh yeah, well that's what they're continuing that actually. That's new separate tornado warning, but that Sunray and Komochi are out of that, so you are in the clear. Loco Texas, you are still in that, so you need to seek
And it's not
shelter.
only tornadoes. Norman did a new Twitter post. Prepare for hail to the size of tennis balls. Tennis balls. That's 15 minutes. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for Garber and Breckenridge and Hunter counties,
Alrighty.
Oklahoma, until 11:30 p.m. This storm will contain
Okay.
tennis ball size
Okay.
hail.
Okay, so going back to the tornado warning, which was something I was talking about before I got cut off there. That it's okay. That was a bit more important actually, but again, that's going to be that just crossed Highway 53, which means that it's actually moving more southeastward instead of the National Weather Service saying of east at 20 miles an hour. But that red square is where your rotation would be. That will remain just in the north of the Woolsey Cemetery, and we're getting very specific with it because it's hard to call out communities in an area this rural. So that's why I'm calling out more specific areas. And again, that would be near. Let me go and get rid of that. So I can get a closer look. That appears to be near Stephens County Road, Stephens County Road, and North Stephens County's Road. Probably crossed that already. Just north of eastward Stephens County's Road 1850. Just southwest of something out there. I don't know what that is. Again, I'm currently using a map of the area because I don't know this area too well.
Storm near Devil is still very broad.
Yeah.
So the storm near Comanche, it's tight. It's tight, but it's not spinning very quick. Tight, but not quick. So far. So if it spins up, he could easily produce a tornado. But the velocities are not that violent right now, or I should say, strong.
I do want to point out with some of the again we did get more photos of that tornado from way earlier in the night. That was a wedge tornado that caused us to go live. In fact, when we went live, we were watching the end stages of that tornado. But again, very, very unexpected night. It looks like near Walters. It looks like the storm is starting to drop off in intensity. Seems like it might be trying to break apart. Because that is a major drop off and intensity there, and with Walters in the cross eye of that. Again, we got these intense storms here that we'll be watching. This will one of these will slowly make its way near Witcherell Falls. You might be noticing a bit of more gusty winds right now. Do not worry, that is just from the outflow boundary that's making its way through Witcherell Falls.
And that's actually good for them.
Yeah.
That decreases tornado potential.
Yeah, and again, so yeah, it might get a little bit more windy in Witcherell Falls as this comes over you, but it won't be anything too strong.
It's also kind of scary when the NWS.
We do have a new.
The impact has not been there.
We do have a new flash flood warning southeast of Lawton, which is expected considering the storm. That includes Empire City, Sunray, Meridian, Duncan, Oil City, Walters, and Guerrero, and affecting until 2:30 a.m. tonight.
I'm very surprised they haven't confirmed any flooding considering how much rain.
Considering this is
So-
the middle of nighttime, flash flood reports may
Yeah.
be very slow to come by.
True.
And also considering how rural some of these are, except for Lawton. But again, the reason why we're seeing that is because these storms are very slow moving. In fact, it's been how long? Let me see. Oh, apparently over an hour to 2 hours, and that this storm is still not in Texas. Despite it being still on the Oklahoma Texas border. One of the tornadoes warnings did get dropped. I'm assuming that's the western one. Yep, they dropped that. Severe thunderstorm warning still remains in
Oh, it's
effect.
only the east.
They dropped the western tornado warning. But yeah, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, or if you're in the northwestern tip of that, a severe thunderstorm warning and a flash flood warning.
And don't be fooled by it either. We could easily get a QLC. Storms doesn't have such good mesoscale.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, we could have a few spin ups overnight. Again, we obviously won't be live for that. Do want to point out for our future stream, we might be live tomorrow as I've decided to start a new objective, and that's to cover more lesser covered events. Again, tomorrow we'll be tracking that. It seems like that'll be Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. That'll be in the crossfire. This area too.
Also,
Go ahead.
A real important fact about this cluster. This is one of the very rare times where only one little cluster or 1 to 2 supercells had made the SPC had to issue an emergency tornado watch. It has been a long time since that has happened. So that's how intense these storms are.
Yeah, I'm gonna disable all the watches and stuff so you can see the this line here in better detail. But yeah, again, I just want to quickly point out that this area will also be under the gun for the severe weather threat tomorrow. Although they're not in the peak of it, they're still in a slight risk, so just keep that in mind. That'll be on May 1st. Again, this is what we've been having over the last hour since we started. And those storms have not entered Texas yet.
Well, I mean, if the storms got any, if they're able to mesoscale, there's 1100 downdraft tape. So if any of these can get a nice bow echo, we could that alpha bound to its job and make this more linear. If the environment is right, we could easily get some 70-mile-per-hour severe thunder.
Yeah, and I do
Depending on
want
the
to point out that if this other tornado warning gets dropped, then we'll be shortly ending the stream, by the way.
I like it that your lab traits are still 6.5. That cluster, so enough to be severe. Definitely.
Yeah, again, we could
Check.
yeah, overnight we're gonna have a strong storm moving in. Flash flooding will be one of the primary threats, as well as large hail and a few tornadoes. Some stronger winds cannot be ruled out either. But none of these warnings really had strong wind indicator on them.
But it's good because why do you want to deal with that? We're already having a tornado on.
So yeah, again, we'll be
These storms, by the way, north of Stillwater, these storms have also been pretty overperforming for being part of the WTS. Nice hail course. These northern.
I do want to point out that also that watch will be expiring in less than half an hour. So
I think they would do 1 more hour.
I don't know.
Tonight's just been so crazy. You don't know what's gonna happen next. I understand. Woo.
Yeah, but now we probably have some gusty, a small pickup in gusty winds. Since things are starting to calm down a bit, I actually want to tell a brief story of how there was a gust front in my area so strong that they had to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for it, but had to highlight that it was a gust front and not a storm.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I got hit by that.
Did you know how fast the wind's blowing?
Say again?
Did you know how fast the wind's blowing?
In my area, it picked up to like 40 to 50, and it was warned for 60. For a gust front.
I am getting worried about the flooding though. This is starting to hit some of the areas that got affected on the.
Yeah, so that soil is saturated.
Yeah. Oh, look at that hail! By the way, look at that hail core in northern Oklahoma.
Northern Oklahoma.
That is, wow.
Yeah,
it's the Garber storm.
Yeah, golf ball size.
Garber County. They just got one for golf ball.
Okay, still so they is took one
the
for golf ball.
Yeah, there was an earlier warning for tennis ball.
Tennis ball, wow. Showing you lightning
There's
strikes.
a small outflow. There's a small outflow boundary on that storm there in Garber County, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and it's not the outflow boundary that's actually going into a thin flow. I'm gonna watch that. That normally can help tornadoes.
Okay, so
we'll see.
Yeah, do want to point out that the lightning strike activity has been increasing on the eastern side of the storm, which means that that part of the storm seems to be getting stronger. There seems to be a hole ripping through in Temple, so it looks like these storms are splitting.
The last thing we want is a discrete series.
Yeah, and that western storm is still producing. It looks like it's still producing hail, so that's something to watch. There's that outflow boundary though to the south. But again, it looks like these storms are starting to split. I mean, it could still be connected by clouds or whatever, but that is a major drop off and rainfall.
And what's really worrying about this is that these storms that are training on the track right now are hitting some of the same places that got very bad tornado damage right now. I think Sulphur's in that one.
Let me go confirm. Yep, Sulphur is in that warning, which is really sad to see considering
even 60 miles an hour can be deadly when you have debris all over.
Yeah, again, considering what they've been through, that is still really sad to see. Moving east at 20 miles an hour will be in effect until 12:15 a.m.
Ooh, I really hope flooding. That's the last thing they want with all that debris. Is floodwaters.
Yeah, and again, that'll be moving towards Sulphur and Springer. Again, Sulphur obviously being very badly hit only a few days ago, not even a week ago, not even basically only 72 hours ago. And that is really sad to see right there. Even though it's just a minor severe thunderstorm warning, they just need a complete break.
In Belleville, in Cotton County, Oklahoma, that was the damage. That was the social media image of what I showed with that tree. They reported that thunderstorm wind damage. I think it was a brief, sick tornado, considering the velocity. But it also might have been.
Okay, hold up.
It also might have been
wind
damage.
Hold up. We got someone in the chat asking a question. It says, I saw tiny clouds in the windy satellite. Took screenshots of it an hour apart. How come these tiny clouds never moved? The large clouds move over them. I don't know if anyone else saw that. Anyone know how or why that happened?
Tiny cloud?
Yeah, again,
are they talking about? I don't know what they.
Again, I haven't been looking at satellites, so I don't really know how to answer that, but I don't think it really means too much. Again, because keep in mind that we had to get together like really. I had to get together like really fast, so I didn't get a chance to check.
I this is going to be a little bit of a bold statement, Tyler.
Yeah.
Tornado warning in northern Oklahoma. Let's go to Carter County Supercell. You can see the outflow boundary making this have more of a hook appearance, or it's trying.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that storm. And right now, warning check, 5 flash flood warnings. We're expecting that to increase. 3 severe thunderstorm warnings and 1 tornado warning. And we'll be checking that. I mean, I kind of do see that hook, but rotation-wise, I
Yeah,
don't see much.
it's getting more surface based
Yeah, we'll keep an
with
eye
that
on that.
outflow boundary.
We'll keep an eye on that. And actually, yeah, I see that hail core that you're referring to. Yeah, that's crazy. Probably produced more than golf ball sized hail there for a second, but right now that it'll be south of Billings to check lightning activity. Lightning activity seems to be increasing a bit on that. That means that storm is getting stronger.
I wouldn't be surprised if they issued a tornado warning. New severe thunderstorm warning for part of the MTS complex in northern Oklahoma. That is the last storm to the left of the complex. That's actually that's a whole supercell. That's not in the it looks part of the MCS complex, but it's not. It's a whole supercell. That is sort of semi-discrete. I'm gonna really watch that. That worries me. 1.5 inch hail if you are in the morning, including Helena, Cherokee, Lambert, Tacoma, and a few other places. If you're in that warning, 1.5 inch hail is mile/hour wind has just been issued. The National Weather Service in North.
Well, actually
That tornado warning is still holding on to Campanche, and that's a good call with that outflow boundary.
yeah,
I think that's a.
yeah, and Tristan, I know we said we're gonna be ending it in a few minutes, but I want to stay around not only for this rotation that's trying to form, but also in about 20 minutes it'll roll over to May 1st, and I kind of just want to get the rollover of that date.
The SBC normally comes out doing, unless I'm mistaken.
Because I need to test something out to make sure that it's not broken on my end regarding the date.
Yeah, that's a very. Yeah. Norman just said that heads up to those engaging in recovery efforts in the community of Sulphur. Yeah, there it is. By the way, very good job to Norman for requesting that emergency tornado watch. That was smart.
Yeah. During the tornadoes we had afterwards. We want to point out that a severe thunderstorm warning did get issued right behind to the north with the northern storms, including Cherokee, Goldtree, Helena, Lambert, and Tacoma, moving east at 15 miles an hour. So even with the north, some of these storms are moving agonizingly slow. That is warned for ping pong sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That will be moving its way towards Cherokee and Lambert. And Tristan, do you know why these storms are moving so slow?
They don't have a trough.
And
That's it.
Yeah.
They actually don't have a trough. When we looked at the surface analysis earlier today, there was no trough to guide them at all. These storms just formed off the dry line. So there was not a lot of steering current for a lot of these storms.
Yeah, and again, The time is 11:42 p.m. We're still tracking the severe weather event. We're tracking a line of storms to the north and a line of storms to the south. Both of them are moving very slow and will likely pose some, with the southern one, flash flooding, and to the north, possibly localized severe thunderstorms. Not flash
I got
flooding
some
threat.
breaking news also.
Go ahead.
If you are in northwest Arkansas, get ready for a new severe thunderstorm watch.
Alrighty, and I just want to point out that we might have a localized flash flood risk, considering how these storms might actually be slowly training on another. There seems to be a break,
Real quick.
a minor break, but again, these will be training on each other.
I'm really concerned about that MCS now in northern Oklahoma. A MCV is forming.
And can you explain to the viewers what that is?
It's a mesoscale area of low pressure that tends to enhance a local area of severe weather. This is commonly found in MCS complexes.
Yeah, and again, we'll be
Or
keeping
lines
an
of
eye on
storms. So basically what that means is that the damaging winds, they said there were some damaging winds. So far, they've been 60 miles an hour by the warning. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe 1 or 2 70-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warnings if the MCV does form and enhance the damaging wind threat a little more, depending on the location of the MCV in the complex. And it can also enhance low-level shear and bring a tiny bit more spin-up tornado potential. It can help the storm relative felicity.
Yeah, and Tristan, I'll hand things off for you to a second because I need to be right back.
Yep. All right, so hello everybody. So tonight, this has been a very ridiculous night. I don't know how to explain it to the viewers. But it has been a very huge overperformance today. In fact, this was already performing like a decent risk earlier today. Near areas in Kansas, including the Topeka Metro, we had a few tornadoes, and the tornado warning just expired for Jefferson and Stephens County in Oklahoma. That's very good news. So for the first time since 3 hours ago, considering that we still had Kansas, you do not have any tornado warnings. That doesn't mean no more can occur. Especially that one near, especially that supercell in northern Oklahoma. That is, if there's any tornado warning, I believe if there's any tornado warning, besides the complex to the south tonight, it would be that supercell located in northern Oklahoma. So let's actually check that real quick. You know what? Let's do that. Oh yeah, it is eating an alpha boundary really well. And let me see the rotation. Rotation's broad. It's not the worst, but we can definitely see. And let me see the potential for that supercell to get tight. It's definitely a hail producer. So let's go back to the south real quick. I just want to check these storms, make sure we're not missing anything. But we have had a wild night. We have had some of the best mesoscale I have seen in years. And yeah, so all these are turning alpha dominant here, alpha dominant, alpha dominant. Okay. So that's good news. These are turning alpha dominant. Our warnings are starting to really come down, which is great news considering what happened. And by the way, for anyone in the chat, I can't see the chat, unfortunately. I have to apologize here. In fact, real quick, let me do that so that way I can some of the chat.
Alrighty, I'm back. Has anything changed?
Tornado warning's been canceled, and the alpha boundary is taking over on the southern complex.
Alrighty.
Which is extremely good news, considering what happened.
Yeah, and again, we will be live.
I will, and that one supercell in northern Oklahoma has looked a little bit less organized.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and again, we will.
Things are suddenly going very good. That if there's any tornado warning tonight, though, it would be that northern supercell.
Yeah,
Most likely. That's playing
and
it.
yeah, again, we'll be live for well until the date rolls over to May because I want to test something out on the back end. But
It's just in 13 minutes.
yep. So again, we'll be live till then. So in the meantime, as things are kind of calming down, I think we should take the time to show you the graphic for tomorrow. Again, we're not going to go full-on weather nerd mode regarding tomorrow, but again, this is a enhanced risk for a 5% chance for tornadoes, including Dodge City and Great Bend, Kansas, extending its way down into Oklahoma and Texas. We also do have a dual area for 15% chance for damaging winds. One in Kansas and Nebraska, and the other including Texas and a tiny sliver of Oklahoma. That does include San Angelo, Texas, and Grand Island, Nebraska. We do have, and the main thing that is driving this would be a 30% significant chance for large hail. That is a kind of a large area that includes over nearly 80,000 square miles. That'll be
I'm gonna say this respectfully.
Yeah.
I think they might pull the 10 for tomorrow too, considering what some of the models have been showing, and considering what
you might
happened
cut it when you
tonight.
said
I can
10%. 10% for what?
tour.
Tour. Okay.
Yep, and I wouldn't be surprised if at least one strong tornado occurred tomorrow, considering how the plane environment is normally.
Yeah, and again, that 30% would extend down from Kansas, with that 30% SIG being primary focused in Kansas and northern Oklahoma. With that, but the significant outline in black continues downward from that into Oklahoma and Texas, and then further down into Texas, and that does include Odessa, Texas, Midland, Texas, and Dodge City, Kansas.
What's the tornado probability? How big is it, real quick?
5%, and that includes 41,000 square miles.
Let me check that real quick, because that's like, is that? I'm guessing that's in the same area that we just had the mesoscale episode. It is. Oh, maybe a strong tornado or two tomorrow, depending on the mesoscale. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, again, we'll keep an eye on that. Again, we'll probably go live tomorrow, not because of the tornadoes, but again, we're deciding to covering more smaller events that most coverage YouTubers won't. Just so you have a reliable outlet.
I remember Daniel and I did that one night. I was with Rose in the Rain. We did that on December 31st. And during January 1st, we actually saved a mother and her child from an EF2 that month.
Yeah. And
it was only a slight risk, by the way.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that we do also have this marginal on day 3. That includes a large area from Texas all the way to Wisconsin. So again, we'll keep an eye on that too.
Part of that's gonna go slight.
And further on, there is no other areas except, but again, all of them say predictability too low, which means that there is something there, but confidence is too low by the Storm Prediction Center.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a day 7 or 8. A lot of people have been discussing another chain reaction. And breaking news. We actually got a lot of breaking news. The President of the United States has improved the disaster declaration for Oklahoma from April 25th to now. Very good.
Yeah, and I do also want to say, this is a announcement regarding watching the skies, that I'm starting in around probably the second week of May, or depending on what you consider the second week. We will be starting to do forecasting videos that could be hosted by either me, Tristan, or Storm Team, or a mixture of all three. But again, probably Tristan would host those because he's the smartest one on the team. But yeah,
No,
that's
Storm is very intelligent.
yeah, Storm team.
We'll work as a
Maybe
team.
both of you actually could cover that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we always do the opposite.
Yeah, because I always see you VCing together. But yeah, that's something we'll be doing. We're trying to figure out how we're gonna go about it. Like we might, or like, it could be like a few days before an event, or like every week, like Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. We'll figure it out, but we'll give you a community post announcement.
And what we like to do on the videos, if we ever did it, is I like to compare the Storm Prediction Center's thinking to our thinking and compare it. But just because we do a forecast does not mean we're professional.
Yeah, and
We're just people learning.
Yeah, and the
Remember
third,
to follow the Storm Prediction Center.
Yeah, and the other reason why we're doing it is some of those videos will be kind of condensed down to a thing that the average viewer could understand, while also not being boring for professionals. That's something we're gonna go with.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, we'll have more information in our Discord and the community post. So yeah, it's gonna be a pretty exciting time to be part of Watching the Skies. But yeah, right now we are down to 0 tornado warnings. We are waiting just a few minutes. Again, we're probably gonna wrap things up here just a few minutes after midnight. We're just currently testing something regarding one of our back-end features. But yeah, again, I know this is an overview of all the stuff here. We might have a localized flash flood threat to the north. And there could also be, if I remember correctly, Tristan, you said there could also be a small tornado up there as well?
Potentially, depending on the mesoscale. And maybe a QLCS 1 or 2 for the complex.
To the south?
The southern complex, too, could have a spin-up tornado or two. These cells, after what happens, I wouldn't deny it at this point.
Yeah, but again, the two primary threats down there would be the hail and definitely flash flooding, depending because of how slow these are moving.
Oh yeah, 100.
Yeah, the average speed for both of these, keep in mind, for both of these, the average speed is like 15 to 20 miles an hour according to the radar information.
And we just got the new information. Severe thunder, the perfect timing, Tyler. Severe thunderstorm watch number 169. Really? That had to be the number? Okay. My bad. That we always have a meme with 69. Sorry, good viewers.
Yeah, again, we're going to see if we can get that loaded up here soon.
I got the discussion already, but I can wait for that. New severe thunderstorm warning, 1.5-inch hail, and 60-mile-per-hour winds for Noble and Payne County in Oklahoma. Again, that's that supercell with a history of large hail by Norman, so not surprised. Wow, today was definitely a 30 sig hail day.
Yeah.
For one.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we did a 5 sig tour last night for this event. We didn't know Oklahoma was gonna do this per se, but we knew that the environment was good for these, especially if the mesoscale went right. Tornadoes.
Yeah, and yeah, again, I do.
Oh.
Okay, real quick before.
That's interesting.
Real quick. I do want to see. Okay, so yeah, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect, including Sommer, Morrison, Red Rock, and Perry, and part of Glencoe, in effect until 12:45 a.m. Central Time, moving southeast at 25 miles an hour, which I'm pretty sure is faster than the one they were showing before. Yeah, but only moving faster, like 5 miles an hour. That was warned for ping-pong-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So go ahead, Tristan.
That I thought was going to be for Arkansas. Oh, they actually okay. Give me a minute. I'm a little confused here. We got a new severe thunderstorm watch, actually for parts of a bunch of Oklahoma, including the Oklahoma City Metro. Oh, that's a little unpredictable. All right, SC. The graphic should be up. There you
Yeah.
go. So this includes for both MCS complex. Here I can send you the graphic.
Yeah, I need the graphics since GR2 is being annoying.
It's on the cover, so there's the link
Yeah.
right there.
I'll go ahead and get it pulled up here. Wait.
This replaces the severe thunderstorm watch in parts of northern Oklahoma, and then the severe tornado watch for southern Oklahoma. By the way.
Yeah, again, I'll go ahead and get that graphic. Pull it up real quick. I'll show it for just a few. But yeah, that new severe thunderstorm warning does include Oklahoma City. That also includes... I need glasses at this point. Admore. And that also includes... Why do I have to make the text so small? That includes...
Report of
Poncha City.
water across portions of Oklahoma State Highway 5. Emergency management. 3 miles south-southwest of Chattanooga in Tillman County, Oklahoma. There's the flash flooding starting to come in. There it is.
Yep, zero mention of tornadoes, but they did mention scattered large hail and isolated very large hail events up to 2 inches in diameter possible, and scattering damaging wind gusts of 70 miles an hour. I do want to cut things off real quick because it's currently last minute before the rollover date, so we're gonna have to cut things off real quick so I can test this system out. I'm just gonna type that there and see if it.
I can read it while you're doing the editing too.
Yeah, but I'd rather, yeah, read it out.
The Storm Prediction Center has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for northern and basically central, large parts of central Oklahoma. We'll just say that, and into northern Texas. Effective till Tuesday night until Wednesday morning from basically midnight. From midnight until 5 a.m. Central Daylight Time. And East Coast, that would be basically 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. So if those watching. Scattered large hail and isolated very large hail events 2 inches in diameter possible, but scattered damaging wind gusts to 70 mile per hour possible. Maybe isolated, I'll say in my own words, isolated 75, considering we're going to have an MCV potentially developing. So I'll say 1 or 2 inches of 75 maybe. A few linear clusters of severe thunderstorms will likely continue into the overnight, as the low-level jet is located over the southern plains. Severe gusts and large hail are possible with the more intense thunderstorms.
Alrighty, yeah.
So these storms basically barely had anything to move, but then the low-level jet. Yeah, very nice low-level jet. Oh. No wonder today popped off a bit more than it did. The low-level jet combined with the storms barely moving. They just had plenty of time to do whatever they want. That is... I expect a watch for Arkansas, by the way. I don't know how they didn't put one. I guess Norman requested a new one, and then they're going to put an Arkansas one later. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to go down.
Let me see the wind shear here. Still a decent amount of wind shear in that southern complex. At the 500 meter. It's 1,000... oh my god. I'm tired. 100 SRH at the 0 to 500. Still plenty of shear. If a tornado wanted to spin. At the 0 to 1 kilometer is about 200 to 250 SRH at 0 to 1 kilometer. So if a storm can try to produce a tornado, it's going to try.
Yep.
I mean, also, Carter, Jefferson, Johnston, Love, Marshall, and Mary counties in Oklahoma at 12:45 a.m. A tornado is possible with winds of 60 miles an hour and hail of 1 inch. That is that's the complex heading southeast, actually.
Yeah, that includes Admore,
Part of the
by the way.
complex
That includes Admore, Dixon, and Marietta. And that was all three places got hit by a tornado. That was moving east at 40 miles an hour. So the good news is that the storm is picking up in speed, which is good because that kind of limits the flash flood threat a bit. That is moving.
It's bad because damaging wind gusts make throw the
But
around
flash
depending
flooding
where
is slightly reduced, which is our main concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one for 1 inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. The storm is speeding up, which is good for flash flooding wise. Yeah, again, that includes every area that was hit hard just a few days ago. And, okay, I think this is where we might end things, Tristan. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Anything I want to say?
Yeah.
The only thing I gotta say is, why did you do this, Oklahoma? I gotta ask that.
Alrighty, well.
Tonight's been very special in the mesoscale.
Well, yeah, this has been a live coverage of watching the skies, watching for everything. Good night.